This is Candace. Welcome back to day 33 of my 100-day health challenge. I just got my cord in the mail. The package just got here maybe like 10-15 minutes ago. And so I have my computer cord now and can actually turn on my computer and make things work. And then also my camera's working on my phone again. Not sure exactly what happened to it yesterday. It would take pictures, but it wasn't taking videos. So I don't know exactly what was going on, but it's working today. So I'm just gonna hope it's fine and there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, so sorry, that was a kind of a short audio thing again yesterday. I was also doing it entirely from my phone again, so it takes a lot longer for me to edit and stuff on the phone. I mean, I could do it easily with my app and everything that I have, but it still can be a pain sometimes. But anyways, I am back. And so, I have so many things to talk about and have had such an inspiring day today, and it's been some whirlwind up and downs, but today has just been a beautiful day. So let's kind of backtrack here a little bit. So one of my intentions on this journey has been to make gradual changes and take steps and treat this as a step-by-step journey to not focus on weight, not focus on perfection, all these different things, but to focus on lifelong change to help me live to 100 and beyond, but with years that have value and service to others and importance and meaning to them. And so yes, there's multifold meaning. I love multiple layers to different names and things. So there's a whole lot more to it than that. But today so one of the pieces that I've been working on is working through my story. And we are all born with a story, and that story is written over the days of our lives. And we never know how many pages in our story they're going to be. And just like any story, there are positives and negatives. I believe that our book was created, and I know I'm using some analogy here, and I love metaphor. If you know me, I love metaphor. Our stories were created to have purpose and meaning and perfection of a plan. We were supposed to have, how to say this, I'm working through my thoughts here too, but we were created and designed to live in a world that was perfect, a world that doesn't have pain and suffering, and to thrive and enjoy life and enjoy the things that make us who we are. Each and every one of us are unique. We've been created with a purpose, for a purpose, to live with purpose. But the world is not perfect. And even though it was intended to be, and we were intended to live with a life without suffering and death and pain, we do have to face those things. And so our stories start to be written. We're born with innocence. We're created with innocence in our stories. And then innocence is lost. It can be in so many different ways. It can happen when you're young. I have a lot of friends who their journey started young. They were abandoned by their parents or their families, and were sometimes adopted into wonderful families and sometimes not. So sometimes innocence is lost very early on. Sometimes it happens later in childhood. Sometimes it doesn't happen till you're a teenager, or sometimes it doesn't happen till you're an adult. But all of our stories face brokenness. And I truly believe that there is evil in this world, and that evil seeks to destroy our stories and our potential and our purpose. every single one of us, you have purpose and promise. You were designed with this. And evil loves nothing more, darkness loves nothing more than to break you down and hide you and hide what you're good at and make you feel less than, make you feel broken and as if your story is over already. And we have ups and downs. Our stories are great and then not so great. And sometimes there really is no both. They're both at the same time. We're having wonderful things happening and horrible things happening all at once. And it can suck. Let's just be honest. Sometimes life is crap. But it wasn't meant to be that way. And we were not meant to have to face these things, but it happens. It happens whether from someone doing things towards us, a situation, an environment, choices we make ourselves, whatever the case is, our stories aren't over. It's hard when you're in a moment of brokenness and innocence lost. You have to cope with it. You have to deal with it. And I heard this outlined in a book recently very well. I've been re-listening to the audiobook Start by John Acuff, and he talks about how a friend of his told him this, that all the stories, all these scripts from movies, books, whatever, have the same theme of innocence lost, coping with that loss, and then innocence regained in some form, or like a resolution, basically. And I like that way. I mean, I've done a lot of writing, and I wasn't an English study. That wasn't my study in college or anything, but I love stories. And I love that summary of it. It's a little bit, I think, more applicable to all kinds of different things. And what I loved about that, as I was reading that book and listening to the audiobook, it's so easy to read a book or to watch a movie and the story's resolved and things are great, or maybe they're not great, but the story was resolved, but our stories aren't done yet. And until the day that we die, our stories are still constantly being written. We are not done yet. Our purpose is not done yet. Whatever the case, whatever innocence has been lost for you, and whatever innocence might be lost again, your life is not over. And as long as you draw breath on this earth, you are worthy to fulfill your purpose and calling. You have promise. You are a promise to the world. And until you draw your final breath, you have a story that's worth telling, and your story isn't over. And you'll have ups and downs, but your story is not done. And don't let anyone silence you and hide who you are. And I know you're probably kind of wondering, what does this have to do with anything? One of the reasons I've chosen to do videos is because I felt like my voice has been silenced for so long. And the lies that I have told myself or have heard from people about my, who I am, about my identity, about my image, about all these different things, they're lies that have kept me from being who I am. And one of the big steps I've taken, and I'm not saying this to discourage you, but this has taken me years to get to this point, to even feel like I could push past the barriers to make healthy choices. And part of that has to do with my story, because I have had a lot of things happen in my story that I'm not totally ready to share all of them to a bunch of people, but just know that, like anyone else, I have broken pieces in my story, and I have not had the confidence or the preparedness to talk. And I love talking. I love to share with people. I love to listen, but I love to share with people. I love to talk to people. I love to just be able to speak. And I felt like I've been told so many lies about, you got to keep quiet. You got to be silent. Don't talk. These things are not, for whatever reason, in different scenarios. And so I've chosen to do videos and to get up in front of people, because I am tired of hiding who I am. I am tired of letting what people have done to me or even the choices I've made define who I am, right? I was created with a promise, with a purpose and an innocent story to have a life filled of love and light and purpose. And I feel like I'm done letting other people control my story and say who I can be and what I can do and how I can live. And I deserve more than that. And I'm not, it's so easy to feel like that's a selfish thing to say, but it is not. We were created to live in a wonderful world with all these blessings and to then use what we've been given to serve others and to help them with their stories. And I am tired of letting myself be held down by the things of the past. And so I had an amazing meeting today with friends, friend and new friend that I've just met today. And one thing I've been trying to do is darkness loves nothing more than to keep you silent and to keep your fears hidden and to not share them with others and to not share what you're doing with others. And so I had been inspired to find people with common stories or common goals and hopes in life. And it was perfect timing. I don't believe in coincidences. It was perfect timing. I have been led to meet with this person, and we met today, the three of us, and she shared her story, and we talked about our stories and some of the things that we find common purpose in. And I think there were just some amazing things. I had such a space to share with people who were genuinely interested in what I had to say. And so I think my encouragement to you would be, if you're at this step where you're done being held here and you want to move here, yes, you have to first make that decision yourself. No one can make it for you. In fact, we tend to dig our heels in and not want to move unless it's our own decision to move first. Now, yes, we can face circumstances in life that push us to do something, but we have to choose. But once we choose, we don't have to walk this journey alone. Fear loves to isolate you. So if you're on a journey like I am, I'm doing this 100-day and beyond challenge for myself. Fear tells me that I have to walk this path alone. I have to do this myself. It has to be perfect. If it can't be perfect, why do it? But it has to be perfect. So it's this endless cycle, right, of not doing anything, being frozen and stuck. And but we do not have to walk our journey alone. So I was very thankful to have two wonderful women today actually want to sit down and just, one, be vulnerable and share their stories, which was such a blessing to me, but then to hear my story, the parts that I wanted to share, and validate me, to say, I hear you, and you matter, and your story matters, and you don't look like a broken person. We're all broken people in ways who are healing, but it doesn't define us. And to sit across from these strong women who are going on their own journeys and are further ahead than me, and to be able to hear them say back to me, we are so proud of you, and we hear you, and your story matters, and it's valuable, and you are kicking it. You're kicking butt, and you are, a strong woman and confident woman. And that just like, oh man, hit my heart, because there's still days where I feel like I'm letting the past hang on to me too tightly and letting it define me. And so to hear both from someone I know and respect, and then someone I now have met and am very much coming to respect and appreciating getting to know her, to hear them say, we are proud of you and you are doing well and this is amazing and don't give up and keep going. You need to find someone who can encourage you like that, who can say, keep going, girl. Keep doing it. Keep going. You have this power that you've been given. You have been given this spirit, this life and personality and your talents and your gifts, and you have been given them to use to bless the world, but to also enjoy your life and to live a life of joy and fulfillment and peace. And I totally believe that's God. I do. I totally believe that is who's given us this opportunity. But no matter what you believe, the fact that you still have been created with a purpose, I still believe God has a plan for you. And I still believe you have such potential and promise and gifts to give to the world. And so do not let anyone stop you. And so I know I'm rambling a little bit, but these are the thoughts that have been in my head. And I see so many people, women especially. I see so many women of all different ages, but people in general too, men too. But I know from a woman's experience, that's what I obviously am more familiar with. But I see too many people silenced, and their lives end with regret. Because they believed the lies people told them, and they believed in the fears that it was too late, they're not enough, they aren't worthy, they can't do it, who are they to do it, everyone else is already doing it, or no one else is doing it, why do it? All these different fears that just hold people down, and they come to the end of their life, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see people come to the end of their life and look back and regret it. We were not meant to regret our life. We were meant to live a beautiful life of joy and purpose, to live with purpose. And so I guess that's why I'm doing this, because I have held back way too long and have been held down for too long and not given what I've been given back to the world, and to enjoy and to realize that it's okay to enjoy the blessings in life. And so I don't know. And I love this. I had not heard of this before. So in our conversation today, there is a concept, a Japanese concept. And I don't want to say this wrong, but I'm going to be researching it more because I love the idea of it. So first, I absolutely love kintsugi. And if you don't know what that is, you should just look it up. It is beautiful. It is the most, in my opinion, beautiful metaphor for what God does in our lives when we have broken stories, and he comes in and redeems those and rescues those and helps us heal. And I mean, I know you may not necessarily believe that, but I still believe that your stories, even the broken parts, can be beautifully put back together. And so if you just look up kintsugi, Kintsugi, it is a beautiful Japanese art that I think can be such a metaphor for our own lives and our own stories. And but I had not heard of this one today. It's called Kaisan. I think I'm saying that right. Kaisan, I believe. I'll look it up for sure, and share more about it because I'm super excited to look into it. But it is about gradual, incremental changes and steps to living essentially to improvement, to living with improvement, and to moving into a better kind of way of living. I know I'm not fully saying that correctly. I haven't really learned a lot about it, but I love that idea because to me, there are all these messages we hear that say, you got to change everything all at once. You got to be perfect. You got to do everything now. You got to get everything right. It's got to be just so. You got to control this. But the truth is, it's all about the journey, the steps and steps and steps, the little gradual incremental changes we make to improve our life and our health and in all different areas. And so I love this concept because I think it's a beautiful portrayal of the fact that we're not striving for perfection. Perfection will not happen. I'm sorry. I don't believe it will. But that's the beauty of it. We wouldn't be half as interesting. Our stories wouldn't be half as beautiful if we didn't understand pain. I'm not saying I don't love that I've gone through so many things, and I'm so sorry that you have. And I don't mean this trivially, and I don't mean this to be dismissive, but we cannot, like the depth that we understand love and joy and hope only increases when we go through suffering and pain. I hate that we have to do that, and I hate to see others have to do that. And I don't love a lot of the things that I've had to deal with in life, but I do love the fact that I understand joy and grace and mercy and love and faith and hope so much more deeply than if I had never gone through the things I had. Because you can't understand something without its opposite a lot of times. And it was never meant to be that way, but it is what it is. And we understand far more the depth of joy when we have faced joy being in doubt. Stories, for example, are not interesting without challenge, without conflict. You do not, now maybe you like stories like that, but I can certainly say that a book, if I pick it up and it's all like just this joyful, peaceful, whatever the whole time, it's like, well, what was the point? Because that's not real life. And a person can't truly have like a joyful ending if they've never experienced the opposite. I mean, well, okay, I suppose they can, but you're not going to understand it to the depth of if there wasn't a conflict, or if this happy ending was not in question at some point, or that kind of thing. And so I think, I know I'm being all over the place tonight, but I just think that we are not striving for perfection. And in fact, our stories and ourselves are far more beautiful and relatable to people when they are broken. That doesn't mean we let it define us. We don't stay there. But we're not striving for perfection, and we're not we need to enjoy the steps by steps and look at the lessons we learn as we go and make gradual changes. Because I can tell you right now, you could lose 70 or 80 pounds on a fad diet or a quick fix or a quick trick or something like that. But is it going to be sustainable? Probably not, because it's not an actual lifestyle change. It's not actually a change in your way of thinking, in your way of feeling. Look, the way we speak to ourselves, the things we think about ourselves and about the world, we may not realize it, but those thoughts, they get ingrained in our mind and they become beliefs. If you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, for example, and say, I'm ugly, that thought, boom, if you keep repeating that, it is going to be in your brain and it's going to become a belief. You're going to go from, oh, it's not that bad. I told myself this today because today I really do look like this, but tomorrow I won't tell that to myself. You know what? You will probably, and your brain's going to try to prove it to you because our brains are very powerful, and they're like, if you look up the I'm blanking on what it's called, but the reticular activating system, I think that's what it's called. If you look up that and about how our brain reinforces things to us, if you start to say to yourself, I'm ugly, I'm not worthy, I'm afraid, I'm all these different things, you will start to believe it. And then that belief will turn into action. You'll start to act upon that belief. It'll be no more it's not just, oh, I feel a little ugly today or something. It's going to turn into, oh, I am ugly all the time. That's who I am. And then, well, I'm ugly. I better dress like this, or I better not show off, or I better just, turtle myself in so that I am in a little turtle shell and nobody can see me. And then your actions affect then your thoughts again, because it's like, oh, well, this is just proving it. I'm even more ugly, and now I can't do anything. And so I must be useless. And then it's going to cycle. I don't even like saying those words because I have said things like that to myself in the past, and I don't like saying them because even just saying them aloud can make you feel this way. So let me just start right here and say, you are beautiful. You are created for purpose, with purpose, to live with purpose. All right. You are unique, one of a kind, and you have talents, gifts, and abilities. You have the ability to learn, and you have the ability to change the world. Let me just say that right now. Let's clear out all the negative stuff we just said, because I don't want to leave you with that. But I guess all I'm trying to say, and I know I'm kind of rambling today, but it's just, believe in yourself, and don't give up. and realize that your story may feel over right now. Your story may feel like it's hopeless, but your story's not done yet. And you have more to do, and you have more to say and to be and how to live. And if we can aim for 100 and beyond and fill every moment of that 100, because we don't know if we have 100 and beyond. I sure hope we do. But no matter what, it's those moments, those small moments, to live as if we know fully confidently we're going to make it to 100, and we want to fill every moment of our life with purpose and meaning. And it's not that we have to find a specific purpose, but to live with purpose, that every moment we choose to live with meaning. That's purpose. It's not, I have to wait until I hear the voice that says, and I'm not making fun of that, because I know people who do clearly hear a calling. But what I will say is that oftentimes what you're born with, the things you love to do, the things you're good at, the passions you have, or even the things you learn and practice, these can all be part of your purpose. The biggest thing is living each moment with purpose. So if we want to make it to 100 and beyond, and to live a life well lived, and to influence the world around us and live to the best health and ability that we have, we need to live every moment, incremental changes, incremental lifestyle changes, and live each moment with purpose. Meaning, choosing meaning in each of those moments, and not dwelling on the moments where maybe it sucked and we had a bad moment, or maybe we had a bad, year or something. Don't dwell on it. Live each new moment and each new day with purpose, and make gradual incremental changes to move forward into health and into living with purpose. And so I guess I'll leave you there for today. I would say one of the number one things about your health is going to be influenced by what you believe about yourself, how you see yourself, how you see your spirit, how you see who you are. And I'm not saying that's easy. Years, decades of work. And I don't mean that discouragingly. I mean that encouragingly. I don't know what your age is right now, but if you still have breath in your body, you still have the ability to live with purpose, and your story's not done yet. Don't ever believe your story's done yet. So I just wanted to share that today and talk about our purpose and just living with purpose and our mental state, where we let ourselves think and believe about ourselves. And just, I encourage you to just do some contemplation about where are you at in your story, and to realize it's good to be honest with ourselves, but don't dwell there either. Realize that your story isn't over, and kind of think about, what can I do to make incremental changes, that kaizen, which again, I'm going to look that up more. And how can I look at my life step by step, moment by moment, living with purpose to the best of my ability every day, and realize that my story is not over, and that I can help write my story. My story may have a number of days. I may have certain things that I'm meant to do, but that doesn't mean that I don't make those individual choices in every moment to live. So anyways, I'll leave you with that. I know that's a lot to think about and take in. I've been thinking about this ever since I got home, and just so many thoughts on this. And I would encourage you to find somebody to talk it out with. Find somebody you trust, who you feel like you can talk it out to. You don't have to share everything. You can if you want, but I would say, don't share everything right away if you don't feel comfortable with it. Share if somebody really loves you and respects you, they will tell you to share what you feel comfortable with. And that's what these beautiful ladies did for me today too. And so I did share a lot, but also there was no pressure. So find somebody you trust, somebody who doesn't pressure you, someone who loves you and who's going to validate you. And it doesn't mean like encouragement and criticism. I shouldn't even say criticism, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like feedback. So encouragement and feedback is not a bad thing, but it should never be a negative, like, oh, you shouldn't do that and you should do this. Like, it should be lovingly looked at of like, hey, maybe you're wanting to make these changes, maybe you should start here, or you're making these changes already. This is great. Maybe we work over here first, or look how far you've already come. And don't worry so much about how far you have to go. Look at how far the changes have already gone, little bit by bit, and you're already changing a little bit at a time. So anyways, I would encourage you with that. And I'm gonna leave you there, and I will talk to you more tomorrow. Bye.